It's a show.
Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me. Rob, I'm here. Yay.
Now, many of y'all may have had a rough day at work, a case of the Mondays, looking for a little positivity in your life. This is not going to be the show for that. Fair warning.
No.
Yeah, this is we got to talk about all the post-game stuff here that happened after the Giants got absolutely trashed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, guys, and it's not pretty right now in East Rutherford. That's for damn sure. You got all kinds of players talking basically different stories of what's going on. You got a certain rookie wide receiver basically calling out the play caller who also happens to be the head coach. Yeah, not good. We got to talk about the fact that, everybody's going crazy to get, a little fuel to the fire there. Not only the Giants doing horrible, but then you watch Saquon blow it up for like 300 some odd yards yesterday for the Eagles. And it also begs the question of why are all the Giants succeeding elsewhere, guys? Plus, we have to once again go into our recap show here for week 12, where we discuss again how I once again whooped Rob's behind.
Oh, whooping.
I'm kidding. We have one more game to go, actually. It's actually going to decide the winner. So, because you and I are totally different on this game every single possible way. So the Monday night game that's going on is going to be the deciding factor. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get right into the Giants news here first, guys. That's what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about the Giants played soft. Because that's what you keep on hearing, guys. The Giants played soft. Like a bounty paper towel there without the quicker, thicker picking upper. So there was a lot afterwards after the game, guys, with that kind of stuff. So we got to get quotes from some players saying, yeah, we played soft, and some players saying no. So let's kind of decipher which ones they are and which one seems more legit and what we kind of saw in the game here. So first off on did they play soft, in the yes category, Dexter Lawrence, he said, we played soft and they beat the bleep out of us today. We missed a lot of tackles. We didn't cover Baker well in the scrambles. We didn't cover well. It's soft to me. Pretty much sums it up pretty well, I think. Malik Nabers, soft as bleep. Yeah, it's nice. It's short and to the point there. Jermaine Eluemunor, I personally don't think everybody is giving 100%. Now, I look at this, and this is three of the bigger leaders on this team. Not that there's a lot of leaders left, guys. Let's be honest. We keep on jettisoning them. But Dexter Lawrence has been a leader through and through. There's no doubt on that one. Malik Nabers is young, but he's outspoken and has a lot of respect to the players in this team. And Jermaine Eluemunor also, while this is his first season as a Giant, is also highly, highly respected within that locker room there. Now, we got some players saying otherwise. First, Jon Runyan Jr. says, I don't think guys are out there soft. I don't think it's anyone in the building's DNA to play soft. I think there's a strong lack of execution in certain areas, especially early on in the game. Speaking offensively, the execution, I'd say, was soft all day across the board. I got to pause that for a second here. I don't think the guys out there are soft. Then 2 seconds later, I'd say was soft all day across the board.
Yeah. Do you know what soft means?
This isn't even a synonym. It's the same exact word.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, he says, I don't think it was for a lack of toughness or physicality. I think guys coming here work hard and train. to say that we played soft, I don't think it's necessarily true. I feel like everybody feels like we were embarrassed. We spoke to that post game in the locker room, and that is the feeling. Guys are in here. They're frustrated. They're mad. Nobody in this locker room is happy with how the season's gone. We all do this because we've played for the sport for a long time. We enjoy it, and we want to win at the end of the day. That's what we do this for, because winning is great, and we bust our butts every week trying to prepare for these games and just not getting the results that hurts us just as much as it hurts all these fans. We're disappointed in ourselves, and we're disappointed for them that we're making them watch these games. Wow, that's an indictment.
Yeah.
Listen to that. We're disappointed for them that we're making them watch these games. Wow. This is the guy trying to be positive right now, guys. He says, but like I said, there's no quit in this team. We're doing everything we can to get this thing going. Micah McFadden comes up and says, I hope our team would never carry that identity of being a soft team. I don't think we are a soft team. It felt like we got dominated out there. It felt embarrassing. I think overall, especially on defense, I think our effort was good. I would say there was a couple one-off plays where, maybe one or two guys would like to have it back. But I think for the most part, we were playing hard. And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to doing our job and executing at a high level. And we didn't do that enough. Guys, I got to say, even the positive people are not coming off very positive in this.
No, I was going to say.
We have to watch the game. We're not soft, but we're soft. And we don't play soft, but maybe there's these couple of plays.
There was a few plays, but we're worn out hard R, if you will.
Seriously. Head coach Brian Daboll says the guys played hard. They played with effort, just didn't do enough. We didn't play well enough. Some things, whether it's execution stuff, call stuff, we just didn't get the job done. But in terms of running to the football, giving effort at the line of scrimmage, those didn't stand out. I don't know about you, but I'm calling BS in the last three.
Yeah.
There was a total lack of effort, guys, in this game. And that's the first time I can honestly sit there and say that watching a Giants game in a long time. This is going back to like the days of like Ben McAdoo losing the locker room kind of thing. That's getting that bad in my mind. I mean, you look at, there's a lot of plays if you watch them. Like, look at the long run by Bucky Irving, the 50 whatever yard run that was. That's a classic example. Bobby Okereke, and we've talked very nicely about Bobby Okereke in the show. Only time we really talked negative when we first signed him, we thought we overpaid him, which I still think based on market value for what he was at the time. But he's lived up to the contract. He has. But he was running around. Somebody said Bobby Okereke got his cardio in today, and they're showing the video of him running around the vicinity of Bucky Irving without actually hitting Bucky Irving. Like he was just all near there, but not actually going to the runner to stop him. And
too much anticipation, not enough action.
Yeah, and you know what? You can sit there and say, oh, well, I don't know. You don't know the play. You don't know what the play was called. Listen, the play is the same for every single one in this regard. Player gets ball, hit him. Like, I don't care what play you're calling. Once the player is to run past the line of scrimmage as a running back, your job is to smack the poop out of him. It is not a difficult job to figure out. It is not a scheme thing. It is not an execution thing. It is the basics of playing goddamn football.
Yeah, kill a man with the ball.
Yes. Like, do we have to get the Saints coaching staff in here to help? I mean, what's going on here, people?
Jeez.
I'm just saying. Like,
well, extra symptoms for hard hits.
Is that what it's going to take? Some money in this whole thing? Like,
yeah, right.
It's embarrassing. And you saw it on multiple plays. I don't mean to single out Bobby Okereke, but that's the play I keep on seeing online. So I'm using that as an example because I think people understand as they see that what they're looking at. And this is a guy that I don't think showed the aggression he usually shows.
No, and he's been standout like one of the best. One of the best pickups the Giants have had in a very long time.
100%. And I'm not anti Bobby Okereke. Like I said, he's just kind of getting the feel for that. And I think we all have this problem where we're unhappy with our job. We're not happy with what's going on. And all of a sudden, our performance is not as good as it usually is.
Yeah.
That is life. These are people. I'm not trying to sit there and make flat out excuses for them, but that mental aspect, we forget that sometimes, that these are people in those uniforms and in those pads. And if you go to your job and as a unit you suck, it's going to beat the crap out of you eventually.
Yeah. 100%. Why do you want to be like the worst out there? Come to your job just to get beat up all the time.
Yep. And then you sit there that week and you saw one of your people that you've gone to battle with for the last couple of years get treated like crap by the front office. How many times have one of us been at work and we see a coworker get wronged in any way, shape, or form, and then it affects how we play how we work because of that? We don't feel like the bosses then care about you as a person. Now, let's be honest, most bosses don't care about you as a person. But we like the illusion. We like the illusion of that.
Yeah.
They might care about us. That's the truth, though. I mean, it really is. You know, how many of us, if we left our job, they wouldn't replace us a week later, if not even sooner? That's life. But it's a little different when you play football. You're harder to replace. There's less people that have your skill. And these are guys now who are in there feeling unappreciated, frustrated with losing, and it's just snowballing into a lack of effort.
Yeah.
And it needs a spark plug. And we thought, that's what DeVito was being called. But, I mean, if he's a spark plug, that car was misfiring as hell the first half of the game, guys.
I was about to say that.
That thing, needs new coils and plugs and wires. That thing is just messed up. It's got a piece of
first gear.
For those auto mechanics there. Fire code. I mean, like I said, it's just things are not right, guys. And I don't think you go out and necessarily call players out publicly if you're one of the players. I think the the two guys player-wise who said that the team wasn't playing soft, if you ask them behind closed doors, they'll probably give you a different answer, to be honest. They're trying to squash a story. Because the people who said yes, they were playing soft, that was Sunday. The people said no, they weren't, that was Monday. The difference is timing. You want to go ahead and change out the way things are and try to change the public narrative. Keep it in-house and change things behind closed doors. So I don't blame the guys that are saying, I said, or fell into that trap. I get it. I'm sure somebody in the Giants organization went up to them and said, hey, can you say something like this to help us out? Get some of the heat off this so we can fix this in-house.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. So, all right, let's talk about the guy who seemed most upset after this game here. And that's Malik Nabers. And you can see that's the picture of him actually in the locker room, by the way, taking these questions. You can see how entertained he is by this idea. He looks, talk about a man that does not seem to want to be in that room. Whew.
Yeah, that was a rough one to listen to.
There's no Stockholm syndrome going on there, that's for sure. That man wants out. That's bad. That's bad. So here's the quotes he gave in the locker room after the game. He said, first, second quarter, I don't get that ball. Start getting targets at the end. I mean, can't do nothing. Start getting the ball when it's 30-0. What do you want me to do? He's then asked why he wasn't involved earlier. He said, talk to Dabes about that. They come up to me and ask me what plays I want, and that was that. I don't know. First off, why the hell are you going to your star receiver midway through the game and say, hey, what plays would you like? Yeah. Are we planning on the fly now?
Or is it the fix in? Are we planning on taking? Are we taking?
Listen, if we're tanking, you got the guys tanking who probably won't be around the way things are going.
Yeah.
That's the stupid move on their part. Nabers says, obviously, it ain't the quarterback. Same outcome we had DJ at quarterback. Take a look. It ain't the quarterback. I don't know what it is. Everybody knows better than me. Yeah, I would like to point out you took out one crappy quarterback for another crappy quarterback. Like, if anybody was expecting Tommy DeVito go in and be the next, Patrick Mahomes,
We already saw it. We have footage.
yeah, like it's not going to be. That's not going to be, guys.
Yeah.
The only thing is he's basically a Daniel Jones without the injury clause.
A lot cheaper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I mean, you're already paying DJ either way, but
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. But yeah, it's crazy. Brian Daboll gave his response today saying, Leak and I talked last night. We talked this morning. He's a very competitive individual. Again, you want to get the ball in his hands, and I got to do a better job of getting the ball in his hands early. He's a smart young man that is very competitive. When you lose like that, it's a frustrating thing. But we've had good communication, as we always have. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, guys, at all. Like that seems, yeah. Oh, we've always had great communication. Doesn't sound like that after the game on Sunday.
No.
Didn't sound like it when he's saying you got going to him at halftime asking him what plays he wants. Because let's be honest, that probably happened because he was bitching at halftime, as he should. Like you have a handful of really good weapons on this offense, and you have one of them. I say 1.5 even are absolutely elite. And what I mean by that is Nabers is elite. I give the half to Tracy because I want to see more of him before I call him an elite player full on. But he's playing elite currently. That's fair to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you go ahead and you got your star wide receiver. You don't give him a single catch the entire first half. That's bad. Then he ends up with 6 catches and 64 yards. Hypothetically, he could have gotten twice that if you were using him right. Then you got your stud running back, who's been one of the top 5 running backs in this league since he started starting, for the Giants. 9 carries in the game. 9. We're not talking German here. We're out of the German.
It's not Germany.
This is not the German thing. 9.
9.
Of course, these players are going to get frustrated. Who wouldn't get frustrated in that scenario? And Nabers is a give me the damn ball kind of receiver. And that's not always a negative. That's the competitive juices. But guys, he said it in Hard Knocks. Like literally, Daboll asked him, what's going to happen? How mad are you going to be if you're not involved in the game plan early on? He said, point blank, you pissed. You asked the man in the interview process for his honest opinion. He gave it to you.
I still act surprised.
F around and find out, guys. That's where we're at. You have a guy who told you point blank in the interview process, I'm going to be frustrated if I'm not involved early. Told you in the interview process, I hate losing more than winning. More than I like winning. That's what he told you, point blank. I hate losing more than I like winning, and if you don't get me in the game plan early, I'm going to get frustrated. What do you think happens after a game like that yesterday when he's not involved at all in the first half, when the offense plays like crap? And then you haven't won a game now in how many weeks? What's it, 6 weeks now?
6 weeks.
God damn. Of course he's going to get pissed off. It's been a month and a half since we won anything. It wasn't even Halloween yet. We're running into Thanksgiving.
Gobble gobble.
Yeah. Gabagool? What?
You get the gabagool.
I'm just saying, like, are we really that shocked? Rob, are you shocked? Like, am I crazy for thinking this is stupid? I'm more shocked this hadn't happened earlier.
I was about to say that it just finally came out that he's upset because he wasn't in the play calls. Like, granted, like some of the games he was losing, like that we were losing. He was in the game plan early, but we've just been terrible all around.
Yeah.
It's like, and since he's a rookie, same with Tracy, both of those players have been playing lights out. And you look at each other like, all right, maybe if you're running the ball, maybe I don't get the time to catch the ball. Maybe if you're catching the ball, I don't get time to run the ball. Because we're doing something that works on offense. We didn't even do that.
Yeah, it's just bad. This is This has gotten to such levels of ineptitude. It's not even funny. Like just when you thought it can't get any worse, it's got me a little scared for Thursday. It's got me a little scared for Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But again, I don't blame Nabers whatsoever. I know, receivers tend to get that, that look of like, oh, look at this guy speaking out. Here's a selfish receiver. I don't think that's what this is at all. Not at all.
Listen,
it's like imagine if you were a restaurant and you sat your head chef down and had the sous chef making dinner.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what you did. You sat him down, and Gordon Ramsay's now in the corner cursing people off.
Yeah. This goddamn chicken's raw. No, yeah. I mean, exactly. Like, it was one thing if you saw Nabers get like 8 catches in the first half, and then he said something like that because he lost. Like, then you look at selfish guy, ball hog, give me this and that. No, 0.
Yeah.
That's no man.
Take the goddamn Ferrari out of the garage. Or why'd you buy it?
100%.
That's where you're at. I hate to use that analogy as if you're buying a car, but you know what I mean. The analogy works still. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's at. We drafted this guy. We went out of our way to draft this guy. We could have gotten a quarterback, for example, which looking back on it, I still question if that's the right move now. But we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is. We see Bo Nix succeeding in Denver. We do see that Michael Penix has looked good the time he's been in Atlanta. And instead, we got a receiver. And I'm liking that we got the receiver. I think at the long term, it's going to work well because I think he's an elite receiver. But you got to realize that when you put a crappy quarterback, not just one quarterback, I should say, a crappy quarterback room with a really good wide receiver, he can't throw himself the goddamn ball.
No, you can try, but it's not going to happen.
I'm sure T.O. probably did once or twice. But, that's where he's at. I can't blame him for being frustrated. You put him in a situation where he's losing consistently. He's told you he hates losing. You're not going to get involved in the offense. And he's told you that's going to piss you off. He's been very, very upfront with them. Really has.
Extremely.
Like, I actually applaud him for the positivity. Like one of the things that I do in my own job when I have to do interviews is I tell people this, just to get their reaction. I say, I hate surprises. What is the potential issue that you and I may have in the future? Just to see the reaction and what they're going to say, because it also tells me how honest they're being in the whole conversation as a whole based on their answer. But Daboll didn't have to ask a question like that. He went out and said it right off the bat. It was on the goddamn video. We saw it.
It's weird to me because I normally ask the person if they like the color. Or my trick question I like to do people is like an interview is like right to his end. Like, hey, imagine if you were blind. Describe the color yellow to me. And their reaction goes a long way.
Yeah, I've never
the best is one guy went, huh?
The trick questions. All righty, guys. Let's talk about Daboll, though, because we've kind of been hinting at the main issue here that we kind of see after this game here. And we got to ask the question, we got the lovely picture of a pouting Brian Daboll on this year. Has Brian Daboll lost the team? Has he lost the locker room? Does he not look very sad in that picture, by the way?
He does. He looks like he definitely didn't win the 440 to get
Yeah.
He did a 3-yard dash to get his wings.
I feel sad for people in the audio version right now that can't see this picture because I feel like this is like Brian Daboll contemplating life and asking where things went wrong. That's what that picture is to me. 100%. Yeah. And yeah, guys, listen, I have been of the mindset of this team with this team that Brian Daboll never lost the team. That Brian Daboll was a guy who seemed to have this team still playing hard when it didn't matter. That I still had faith in him potentially as a guy who could get offense going, and we're blaming DJ. On the show yesterday, I went out and bashed him on play calling, and I think fairly so. I'm still pissed off about the 4th and 1 on the second drive overall. That was stupidity. I'm still pissed off about the trick play when we're at 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. That was stupidity. There's plenty of things that are stupidity that he did in this whole thing. And that's just the two obvious ones. I haven't even gotten a chance to go back and look at the all 22 or anything. But this is the first time I've seen the players not to seem to be behind him. Yeah. And that's a really scary thing if you're Brian Daboll. That's the one thing that I thought was not going to happen, because I feel like for whatever reason he had to seem to have a good grip on this locker room. It seems to me he's lost the grip. And there ain't no stickum left in the league here.
Nope.
Like, this is not going well for him whatsoever. There's already the rumor that if things don't go well in Thanksgiving, that they'd make the change then. Because you get a couple extra days, it's a sensible time to make the change. I don't know how true that is. That's all rumors and rumblings. I'm not trying to say I have a source in that. I'm not trying to say anything crazy like that. But there's some sensibility to that. That if you were going to make the move, you make it while you're still there. Got a couple extra days because you're playing Thursday. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you got the week. So you got 3 extra days of preparation and changing out there. I'm just not sure that's going to be the timetable to do it. I feel like Mara is not going to want to pull that plug. Shane's not going to want to pull that plug because those two are like, attached to the hips there.
100%.
I don't know. And is it a safe question to ask, Rob, of like, is this going to be an issue, the friendship of Shane and Daboll, where if Shane has to be the one to pull the plug, will he pull the plug even though there's a DNR on this whole thing?
I don't think so. I think they've been together so long, and Daboll gets it. When we hired him and we talked about his coaching, trajectory, and he's on 17 teams just about.
Yeah.
He knows what it's like getting fired. He knows what it's like leaving somewhere, going, even leaving the NFL, going back to college, coming back. So he knows what it's like to be fired. So like Shane goes, listen, came down from the fam, have to do it. Sorry, bud, you're out.
Yeah, but would Mara do that though? Like you saw, like Mara talking to Joe Shane during Hard Knocks about Saquon. He obviously wanted to keep Saquon, and Joe Shane obviously didn't, and Joe Shane won. Like, is Mara going to let him do his thing? And then are we going to have to be stuck with him longer than we should be and make this a huge circus act? You know?
The thing you also got to ask too is like, so Mara already said he was committed. He's trying to stay out. Like he's been dabbling more in, with the team than he should have, not giving coaches enough time. You're once again like you had one good season with these guys, their rookie years, this coaching, and all of a sudden we're trash. So he may pull the trigger and say like, hey, listen, something's got to change. It's you or him or both of you.
Yep.
You figure it out. Shane most likely is not going to be like, oh, I have to go.
I wonder though if there's one thing about John Mara, he doesn't like to be embarrassed publicly. He doesn't. He cares very much about not necessarily his view with the fans, because I think the fans have disliked him for quite a number of years, but his view within NFL circles. He's very respected in NFL circles, partially because of the last name and everything his father meant to this league, obviously. But he has a respect and a good reputation within the league, and he wants to keep it. If this becomes a sideshow, he loses it. And if this becomes a sideshow, why not make the change?
Well, that's it.
And for both, I'm saying that to be clear.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with what you're saying, especially because, like, look at all the talks that has happened over the past week with Daniel Jones. Like, a lot of people coming out and just throwing a lot of hate towards Daboll and Shane of what they've done to DJ, even though like, there's a lot of DJ haters out there, but a lot of them, like, at least were like, You're going to make this guy play safety on a scouting team? Like, what the crap is that? Like, that's a total slap in the face.
And I think that's the issue right there, what you said. And I think that's why these two both lost this locker room, and Deb alluded to that in the comment as well, is I think this locker room has potentially been lost because of the way that they treated, Daniel Jones. They see this offseason, Saquon Barkley being disrespected by Joe Shane. Now they see this organization as a whole, minus Mara, treating DJ like crap on the way out. And there's no need for it. Again, I've said it before on the show. I don't want to beat the dead horse here. Horrible quarterback, great teammate, great person. And if you're going to let someone go at a job because of performance, but you have respect for them, you do it in a respectful way.
Correct.
That was not a respectful way. And I think the locker room took a lot of, issue with that. And I think the locker room looked at everything going on and says, hold on, if they don't give a damn about DJ, when this man fought his tail off with this team, this guy did everything right. This guy was the first guy to in, the last guy to leave. Yeah, he wasn't good, so we understand him going, but he did so much with this team, and you're just going to treat him like that?
Yeah. Disrespect.
What am I to them? What am I to them then?
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about before with the whole playing soft thing. It's like we all like illusions at our job, I feel like. That illusion that I'm cared about. The illusion that my bosses give a damn about me. When in reality, most don't. I'll be being very frank with you. Now, are there some that do? Yes. I mean, I'm a boss myself. I like to think that I do care, at least to a certain degree. I don't get involved in people's personal life under me, but I do care. I care that they enjoy their work environment and that kind of stuff as best I can make it. But not to toot my own horn, but not every boss does that. Not everybody cares. And unfortunately, the higher you get up, the less you do care, so you have so many more people under you.
Yeah.
So, I know there's a decent number of players on the team here, obviously, between the active roster, the practice squad, all those kind of, things, But when you see one of the prominent people of your franchise get treated like crap like that, it's going to affect you. And I think
100%.
that's what it is. They're seeing them not being cared about. They're seeing the constant losing. They're seeing the bad play calling. They're seeing the poor decisions. They're seeing the players this offseason, guys like Saquon, getting talked trash about. Guys like Tyrod Taylor, you think he's coming back. When he hated what happened with the Giants, there was no way in goddamn hell he was coming back. And you see that kind of stupidity, and it's going to affect you. And I think the players have lost respect for these two. I really do. And
I
maybe
think so too.
Overthinking it by one game. Maybe I am. Maybe this is overreaction Monday.
Maybe, but I mean, I talked about this last week when we decided to not start Drew Lock, and I agree with that decision. But when you promise a guy to come in here and give him all these hopes and dreams, and then when push comes to shove, it's time to do it, and you literally treat him like crap and say, "Nope, sorry, don't get the job." Like that's something else that goes a long way. Like everyone knew, like in that situation, in the roster, like that's your number 2 QB. Yeah. If you're going to get rid of DJ, this is who you're supposed to start.
It's like you were told there was no cats in America and the streets are filled with cheese, and they weren't. And there was cats everywhere. If anybody gets the analogy I'm using, kudos to you. But that's what it legit is. Like, people feel like they were lied to now. And they've lost respect. And unfortunately, respect is one of those things, once you lose it, you don't tend to get it back.
That's very
especially in a group. Maybe from an individual, you work your tail off, you gain that respect back, you gain that trust back. But for a group, that's even harder.
Yep.
And if that is what's going on, guys, I called it on the show yesterday. Rob, if you want to give your opinion on it, but I said point blank that as bad as the Giants have treated Mike Kafka in his time period, because I do think they've treated him like crap, point blank. Between taking the play calling away, stopping him from interviewing for the OC job last year in Seattle, I think Mike Kafka should be the interim coach if he wants the gig. Let him beef up his resume that way and just figure out what you're going to do in the meantime and move on. You want a spark plug, sometimes getting rid of the people who are plugging the spark is the way to go. See what I did there?
Sometimes. I see what you did there.
Nice.
Sometimes I just need a new driver. You know,
Yeah.
you're talking about all this car now. It's just sometimes some people don't know how to drive cars or treat the cars properly. They just get a new driver.
Yep. Yeah.
Might ease up some of these issues. You might not have to redline every time you get behind the gas pedal.
I do like doing that, though. It is fun. So we got one more thing we got to point out here. So we talked about the fact that last night Saquon Barkley just excited the whole NFL world, minus the Giant fans, what he did against the Rams Sunday Night Football. Got like 300 some odd yards of offense.
More yards on offense than the Giants as a whole.
Like 3 times as much, by the way. It's like that bad. But, it's not just him. And we got to talk about ex-Giants having success elsewhere because it's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere in the NFL.
We did their ex-Giants.
But we jettisoned guys off. We jettisoned guys off that supposedly couldn't play football, supposedly weren't worth bigger contracts, and they're all succeeding. Now, I will say this. I don't want to play revisionist history. I'm not upset all of them are gone. I'm not. And the first one we're going to talk about, obviously, is Saquon Barkley. And I'm not upset he's gone still. And I know I'm going to get some slack potentially for that. I would still rather, because we're not ready to win right now, guys. You don't win with a guy who's, a late 20s running back at that point there when you're building. But you can do it with a 4th round pick that's on a rookie deal that's doing, even if it's 2/3 what Saquon is, it's still a better value for your team at that point. So I'm not upset we lost him. But the guy was, goes to the Philadelphia now. He's got a career high 1,392 yards rushing already. He's got 6 games left to go, guys. He's already had a career high. Leads the NFL in rushes, rushing yards per game, yards per carry, touches, and yards from scrimmage. He is the best running back in the league currently, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we call that he's good ball, but my God.
Yeah. The main reason I bring him up is not oh my God, I wish we had Saquon still. It's, oh my God, we had that guy. And he didn't do nearly this much. And it just shows the ineptitude of this team overall. Again, we've said it ad nauseum before because Saquon Barkley, that topic keeps coming up because how well he's doing. But it's like he's got better weapons around him, better offensive line, better scheming, blah, 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 blah. Everything better around him. We hate to say that about the Eagles, but it's the truth, guys. Let's not BS it. Let's call it like it is.
And the Eagles past 8 games, they won 7 out of the past 8 games? Yeah. Like they've been playing good football.
Huge. And he's been a huge part of it. Huge part of it.
Yep.
Then you go to Xavier McKinney. And we're told, we can't spend that money on a safety. Can't spend that money on a safety. Well, that safety is now tied for the lead with 6-7 interceptions, guys. By the way, that's 7 times as many as the Giants have in the season.
No.
The math is not difficult for you to figure out. That means we have more. Again, a guy that is succeeding elsewhere. He's at an all-pro level at this point, guys. He's playing better for the Packers than he ever played for the Giants. And it's not not like in New York. He, by all accounts, actually went back to Shane and said, here's my best offer. Will you match it? I want to be a Giant. And Shane turned him down.
It's true.
I liked we got Tyler Newman. I'm not anti-Jason Pinnock. But don't tell me you guys wouldn't love to have a guy with 7 interceptions right now on this team.
Yeah.
And you could say, it's the line. It's the line. No, it's not the line. We could have moved money around with the other guys and kept him and Saquon both if we wanted to, guys, without affecting how we got that. If you really want to say who we could have potentially not gotten, it wasn't the line. It was Brian Burns. That's the guy we might not have gotten. That's the truth of it. Yeah. We gave $30 million to a guy who never got double-digit sacks before.
Yep.
That's the truth of the matter. Then you got Julian Love, who we didn't re-sign a couple years ago. He's now in his 2nd year as a Seattle Seahawk. He's got Pro Bowl on his resume from last year. 76.4 PFF grade this year. Who wouldn't love to have this guy? Again. Yeah. Leonard Williams, we traded him to the Seahawks as well. 77.8 PFF grade, guys. He's got 9 sacks in 20 games as a Seahawk. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. From a defensive tackle position, there's not a lot of guys who can sit there saying they average about half a sack a game from the defensive tackle position. That's a lot. That's a lot there. You got Sterling Shepard, who we saw there this past game. You know, he's been a serviceable backup wide receiver. We could use that. We don't really have that on our roster. You know, we got the big three in, Malik Nabers, Darius Slayton, and Wan'Dale Robinson. We don't got much behind him, guys.
Nope.
Don't tell me Shep wouldn't be a good fourth receiver right now. Now, we all thought that Shep was going to be a guy who, would not be around this year because all the injuries. We didn't have access to his medical history, obviously, and stuff like that. Well, the Bucs took a shot, and it seems to be working for him. You got Ben Bredeson. Started all 11 games for the Bucs so far at guard. We just saw him again yesterday, too. 0 sacks allowed in 710 snaps, guys. Matt Peart. Remember Matt Peart? Matt Peart was one of the crappiest looking offensive linemen to ever wear a Giants uniform. I remember a couple of years ago, he was in a preseason game, and he couldn't even guard a corner. A corner got past his block. He's now the third tackle for the Broncos. He's got a 68.0 PFF grade, 162 snaps in 12 games. Playing a lot better than you ever would see. Yeah, John Feliciano. He's been the IR this year, but 10 starts last year with the 49ers, including the Super Bowl. A'Shawn Robinson's got 10 starts this year for the Panthers, 35 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. And we got Tyrod Taylor we talked about before. Hasn't seen success with the Jets there at that point because he hasn't seen the field. But a veteran quarterback. How much would we love having a guy like Tyrod Taylor on this team right now? That'd be absolutely amazing. Think about it. In the last 2 years, that's all I'm doing right now. The last 2 years, we've given up on the best running back in the league, an all-pro safety, a Pro Bowl safety, probably a top 15 defensive tackle. I guess it's probably safe to say with Leonard Williams, a good reserve wide receiver, a starting guard, a third tackle, a starting center, a defensive tackle that is decent against the run, and a veteran quarterback, all jettisoned in a 2-year process. How many of those guys would you love to have on this roster right now? How many of them? I know a lot of y'all would like having Saquon. Like I said, he's the one I'll give you kind of the asterisk on because of the age and the contract at that point there. But the way he's playing right now, of course, if you can tell me I can have him right now on this roster without any issues later on, yeah, take him right now, of course, in a heartbeat. Who wouldn't? Don't tell me I wouldn't take McKinney, Julian Love, Leonard Williams.
Hands down.
This roster, we talk about how much better this roster is in the last couple of years under Joe Shane. All these guys I listed, we would take in a heartbeat, guys. In an absolute heartbeat. And it's kind of sad to think about it because we have these guys. We think the roster was good enough. Now we wish we could have these guys back.
Shows you the progression.
It's bad. It's bad, guys. All right, well, let's go ahead and pay the bills real quick, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the comments, and then we're going to do our quick rundown of all the scores from yesterday.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All right. And of course, you can also support the show by doing super chats on YouTube, stars on Facebook, and of course, the nice free method there. Give us a like, subscribe, ring the bell on YouTube, hit the subscribe on audio podcast. That's the best way. And tell a friend. because we suck at marketing. We count on you all to help us out. Point blank, we suck at marketing.
Please.
We don't even try to hide it. We just call it like it is.
Yeah.
We're as bad at marketing as the Giants are at playing football. Okay, that's how bad it is.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys' help there. Let's go to the comments. Anthony starts off with "still sad." LOL. Yeah, I mean it's there's no doubt there's no way there to be. I mean, that was an embarrassing game. It's bad enough he loses to the Panthers the week before, the game before that. Then we get blown out. I'm not even sure which one's worse: losing barely to the Panthers or getting blown out by the Bucks.
Yeah. I mean,
neither one's good. I can tell you that.
No.
Neither one's good. Dorothy says the Giants are the first wife you married before you became a celebrity. Now you want to cheat on him with former lovers named Bill. What is that? Bill Belichick? Is that what we're going with there?
I'm gonna have to go soon.
If that's the case, we'd have to be a 25-year-old former cheerleader.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Giants team's almost as old as Bill Belichick.
Pale Rider says they let arguably that the offensive and defense MVPs this season walk and got nothing for them. Then the guy they kept and paid all that money to asked for his release. You can't make this poop up. To put it nice, he didn't say poop, but to put it up. And he says they don't even have an offensive captain. Yeah, I mean the whole situation's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
Dorothy says if Daboll and Shane were superheroes, they'd be booty cheeks and the tanked.
Fantastic comment.
Dorothy's been on a roll, by the way, the last 24 hours here. The comments on the show yesterday as well. Deb says my favorite from Neighbors when questioned about not getting the ball and he didn't fault the quarterback. He said, "Ask Dave's." Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a very telling sign that he basically publicly called out the head coach. And it's not telling like that he's frustrated. It's not telling that he's not happy with the play calling. It's telling that he doesn't have respect for Daboll. You don't do that publicly if you respect Daboll. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't. You may have somehow lost it temporarily and gained it back, but in that moment, he had not a 1 ounce of respect for Brian Daboll.
No restraints either. Just
no respect. No respect.
Sure.
No. Dorothy says the Giants are growers. Aren't growers, they are showers. Well, they didn't show up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're either.
Yeah.
They're definitely
just there.
They're definitely innies, not outies, if we're going with that kind of analogy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Giants 83 says every decision this franchise makes is wrong. I put a lot of this on Mara. Every hire he makes is terrible. Listen, I would agree with you on the Gettleman thing to a certain degree, though he had a decent resume and he had obviously history with the Giants. Listen, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll were the most sought out after GM head coach combo a couple years ago.
Look what they did with the Bills. So,
but I'm saying, like, the truth, like, that was the number one guys for both those positions available that offseason. That was a get for us. Just hasn't worked out. I can't blame Mara for that.
Yeah.
He made what everybody at the time would have said was a smart decision. Honestly. So, just didn't work out. Anthony says, I think Neighbors is going to request a trade before week 15. He will not. I'm telling you right now, if it gets to the point where he's asking for a trade, then Daboll will be gone. They'll say, we're getting a temporary coach in here. We're going to get a better coach, offensive-minded coach. I'll probably say a better coach, but a different offensive mind is going to bring in new insights and everything. It's going to get going next year. They'll spin it that way, you know?
This new offensive coach is a guru at offense.
Guru.
At play calling.
It's really Mike Myers, the love guru.
Yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah.
Definitely wasn't Austin Powers. Deb says,
wasn't a love guru pretty much Shrek's voice?
It was. So I Married an Axe Murderer was basically correct. It was the same voice he used in that one. But definitely Love Guru was the knockoff of Austin Powers. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Deb says, I'm reminded of one of Fossil's last press conferences when asked what was wrong with the team, and he literally said, I don't know. He was gone after that. Now, him and Mara were butting heads like crazy at that point. Honestly, I don't think that was I don't know because he legit didn't know. I think that was I don't know because he was just frustrated, and at that point, he was done himself.
Yeah.
I really do. He was He was pissed off when he left, point blank. And Rob, your dad says, howdy.
Howdy, Dad.
Dorothy says Fossil would have outcoached Daboll into the ground. Fossil took a mediocre team to the Super Bowl with Kerry Collins 3 sheets to the win. Yeah. This is worst Giants coaches of my lifetime. Joe Judge, Ray Hanley, Daboll, Benny Mack. Yeah,
Ooh,
I mean,
put Benny Mack above Daboll below.
I don't know if that was an order. So we'll have to see.
That was L.
She can let us know in the comments there. Deb says he lied to them and they didn't like it. He told the players the DJ thing was a football decision, and they all knew it was the money. Did he think they were stupid? Yes, he does. I'm beginning to think he has the same exact ailment that Joe Shane has, of thinking he's the smartest person in the room and he can outsmart anybody. Because he seemed to think that when he's play calling. Oh, I can put the quarterback as a receiver and do a wildcat. That's going to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
No one was confused. No one was confused. Let me just tell you that right now. The second Singletary and Tyrone Tracy Jr. were the people in the backfield, and that's it. You know what you said? We're going to run the goddamn ball. Come full steam ahead. There's no way we're passing it. Way to just tell the defense what you were doing. Great job, coach. Patrick Grove says Shane and Daboll should be gone Friday morning. We'll see. And then it says John Merritt loves the team. He is a fan as well as an owner. Yes, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that to a certain degree, to be honest. I don't feel like the hate is that he gets is rightful. I think a lot of it is people he's the constant. GMs change, coaches change, ownership stays the same. So I didn't hear anybody talking about how great an owner he was when we're winning Super Bowls, though.
No one said a damn word.
That's the problem. The problem. And I get it. He's the scapegoat because he's rich and he owns the team and he's been around for a while. You got to give him the kudos to the Super Bowls then, too, if you're going to do that. That's the fair thing to do. And then your dad says the firing is going to start soon.
Oh, yes, the fire.
Dorothy says, any fan that doesn't want Bill Belly here and prefers another first-time coach needs to read some books on management. Resumes are a real thing. See, I'll half agree with you on that, Dorothy, because I think Belichick is done.
Yeah, his better years are passing.
Yeah, I think so. Now, Vrabel, yes. And I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I would love to have Bill Belichick in a front office position. And not even GM. Just give him a thing like Coughlin had, where he's a senior advisor, president to the team, whatever the hell title you want to give him, where he's just kind of the CEO of the whole thing, the football operations, basically. And he has the GM and coach under him. So, Deb says, who was calling the plays when they made the playoffs? Kafka? Yes, it was Kafka. As Patrick says, yes, Kafka. And then it says, hashtag Cam Ward. And then Jordan says, hashtag the corpse of Fran Tarkenton. Yeah, like I said, guys, it's turning into an embarrassment here. So let's talk about non-Giants news here for a little bit here. We have to go a recap of week 12. Now, guys, we've already been going for 53 minutes. This is going to be the same as we did last week. We're going to really just run down the scores real quick, let you know what we did, how we did at that point, and get on out of here at that point there, because that's going to take a moment as it is here. So let's get right into with Thursday Night Football, one of the biggest shockers of the week. If it wasn't for one of the game, actually maybe two other games, it'd be the unanimous shocker. But there's 3 games you could probably say are shockers on this list here. But the Browns went ahead and beat the Steelers 24-19. And Rob and I almost entirely goose-egged on this entire game here. As we had the Steelers to win and cover the spread. We did get the under, though, so we each got a point for that. So 1 point for each of us in that game.
Yay. The snowball. Snow again, and we get that out. Ooh. Going into the 1 o'clock games, you got Chief going into Carolina's playing them Panthers. Well, you would think the Panthers were going to get spanked in this game, and it would have been a get-right game for the Chiefs coming back off of their first loss of the year.
Nope. Because I didn't.
Oh, I did. I thought it was a get-right game for them against the worst team out there.
They're not playing us.
Touche. Chiefs win 30-27. So Drew and I, we both took this game here with the Chiefs. Obviously, I took that 11-point spread for the Chiefs because I thought it was a get-right game. But the Panthers come in. We both go over in this game, which gives Drew the trifecta and me 2 points. Duet, if you will.
All right. So next up here, we got the Minnesota Vikings going into overtime against the Chicago Bears, winning 30-27, guys. So you and I both had the Vikings to win. You had picked the Bears to cover the spread, which they did when I did not. You also had the over in that, which I did not. So you got the trifecta. I get just the 1 point for picking the Vikings to win.
Womp womp.
Wow.
Up next, a good old battle of the Houston Texans and the Titans. In Houston, they win 27. They lose 27-32. Tennessee pulling out the upset. Will Levis and a really, really bad game, but who cares? That man's a meme for days. We both took the Texans.
Tennessee and get more upset since the bar ran out of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, right. We both took the Texans to win this game. So goose eggs there, but I did take the Titans in that 7.5-point spread. And we both went under, which gives us just 1 point between the 6 points we could actually 8 points we could have got there, which was made with the Titans in the spread.
Yeah, that was a close one there. Shockingly, very shockingly.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Lions, and what was definitely not a close one, winning 24-6 against the Indianapolis Colts there. Now, you and I both picked the Lions to win and cover the spread, which they did. I picked the under in that. You had picked the over, so I got the point for that, and that gives me my trifecta as well. So 4 points for me, 2 points for you.
Ooh la la. All right. Up next, you had the Patriots going down to Miami. Still a South Beach action there. Topless.
Got to play with that dolphin.
Yeah.
Yeah, cars falling out of trees.
They did definitely not pack enough because they got their butt stomped 34-17. Miami wins. 15. We both took the fence to win this game. You took the fence to beat them by 7 points. I took the spread in this game, and you took the over. I took the under, giving you another trifecta to my 1 point.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, next up, we don't want to talk about this game. It's like the Bruno. We don't want to talk about Bruno. We don't want to talk about this game. Bucks win 30-7 against the Giants. You and I both did not do very good in this game. You got 1 point for picking the Bucks to win, and that's the only point we got in this entire debacle.
Wah, 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 wah.
I'll leave it at that. We were anticipating better things.
Yeah, to say the least. Well, the next game we had Dallas going into DC playing the Commanders. This the over-under was 45 and the spread was 10.5. Well, the Cowboys pull out an upset 34-26, playing a very upsetting game for, I guess, Daniels, because he's not been looking the same QB in his rookie year this past month, if you will. He's a little tired. We both take DC in this game. We both take DC to cover this game, and we both took the over, which is the only points we got here was the over.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. That was a not so good one there for us there. Then we got the Broncos and the Raiders. Broncos destroyed them when we thought 29-19. Now, when I say we thought, it's because you and I both had the Broncos to win. You and I both had the Broncos to go with the over-under at that point there. The only thing that I didn't get that you did get is the over-under. I had the under, you had the over, and that gave you your trifecta as well. So 2 points for me, 4 points for you.
Oh, yeah. At 4:25, you had San Francisco going into Wisconsin. Lambeau Field, don't you know? Well,
don't you know? We got some Wisconsin cheese over here, don't you know?
The Wisconsin cheese. Well, the Packers, the healthy Packers, beat up on
The healthy
terrible
Packers, unhealthy Packers. What's going on here?
Well, I'm just saying the Niners have been pretty beat up, and the roster is not 100% there with their starters. And Packers win. They wallop a 38-10 win. And Drew, you and I both called this game because we took the Packers to win. We took them to cover, but we took the under in this game. And my God, the Packers almost put the over themselves on here. So we get 2 points a pop.
Yeah, we totally thought that the
battle of defense,
the Niners would do enough on defense to keep that under. But yeah, that was definitely not. But then we got a game that definitely did qualify heavily for the under, and that's the Cardinals at the Seahawks. You and I both picked the Cardinals to win, and we picked the Cardinals to cover the 1-point spread. That didn't go so well because, like I said, the Seahawks win 16-6 there in that battle. So the only points that we got in that was you got the under because I had put the over on that. So you got 1 point, I got none.
Is it a 4-way tie over there in the West? West Coast.
It's almost like, remember a couple of years ago when it was like the Commanders and the Eagles and the Cowboys were all like just barely over 500 and they were all battling it after the NFC East. It's like that over there now.
Yes, but pretty much like that.
Who is the best mediocre team?
Yeah. Who does number 2? Up next, Sunday Night Football. We had the Eagles.
Sunday night.
Night. You had the Eagles going into LA playing the Rams. Drew, we were a little different on this one. You took the Eagles to win and cover, and I took the Rams. The only thing we agreed on was the over. You got a trifecta of this, and I got a point because I wound up taking the Rams to win, the Rams to cover, and that did not happen because they lost 37-20.
Nope. And then currently the Monday night game, which is going to decide this whole matchup here. Baltimore Ravens are up 17-13 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter there. So still up with the Ravens, which would give me a few more points on you there. But in general, anything can happen. So that game is still extremely close, guys. So that's the one we can't give you the final score on. You'll have to check the newsreel for that one there if you're listening to all the scores here. So, but yeah, as of right now, I'm 2 points up on Rob. And if that stays, as of right now, I'm up 8 points on the year, and that's it. That's crazy as that sounds for all these wins. I keep getting about 1 or 2 points. It's insanity.
Yeah.
Like I'm like the king of close wins here. I'm like the 22 Giants.
Yeah.
Where I am. Like Saquon's going for 2 against Tennessee. Like that's where we're at here.
It's like you're stabbing me with the butter knife.
Exactly. But slowly but surely getting paper cuts.
Wow.
All righty, guys. So let's get the last of the comments here real quick. So there's a couple we had come in while we are doing that, and then we'll go on head on out here. Anthony says Mara is the problem. He needs to hire Belichick to run team operations. He can sit in his suite and watch the magic happen. Bill would fire everyone, even the scouts. It's downright needed. 71 a.m. I don't know what that part is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an old thing.
71 a.m. or 71 a.m.
Okay.
71 a.m. Is that what it's talking about?
Like green eggs and ham?
Isn't he 72, Belichick?
I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm 100% behind that plan. That's what we've been saying here as well. So, you put Belichick in that kind of role. You let him clean house. You let him go ahead and fix things. Mara's got to let him take the family members out, the people he's been protecting, because that's the one downfall you can give Mara. He loves to shove his family and people he's protecting in there. And then let Bill do his thing. Let him bring in Vrabel as the head coach, because I think Vrabel would do that in a heartbeat. There's still a lot of respect for those two. And you get things rolling. You just got to get a good guy to develop a quarterback. And Josh McDaniels, to me, is the guy that can do it. He again, I know people are going to say, oh, he developed Brady, but Brady was already developed, under what's his name? What's the big tubby guy that was the offensive coordinator, went to Notre Dame? Charlie Weiss, is that his name? He was the original guy that was the OC under Brady. Charlie Weiss, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was Charlie Weiss and Romeo Cornell were the two coordinators back then. But I mean, he played his best games with Josh McDaniels. He definitely improved under him with the Patriots. And then you throw in the fact that he made Jimmy G look good. He made Jacoby Brissett look good. He's developed people. Even Mac Jones looked good the first year before he left again. I mean,
yeah.
There's definitely, things that you could say that he's done good with quarterbacks. I think he'd be a guy that can do it. So, and to go into that, what Patrick says, just because Brandon Brown was a disciple of Howie, he should be our next GM. That's the other thing I said. I said Brandon Brown should just become the GM. I would love that. I think there's a lot of people have a lot of respect for him in the NFL, and I'm not in the room to know what he differs from Shane on. But when a lot of people in the NFL circles tell you he knows what he's talking about, chances are he knows what he's talking about.
Looks like
Anthony says, I think if the Wish version of the Red Rocket lights us up on Thursday, Kafka gets named interim head coach by Monday. Honestly, if that happens, it'll happen Friday.
Yep.
You want to give him as much time as possible to get his stuff together. I really think that. So we'll see. And Patrick says Anthony Clemente agreed. And like I said, this could be it. This could be the Swan song, guys. So we're off tomorrow, guys. Tuesday, as always, we don't do a show, but Wednesday we'll be back and we'll do our preview show of the Giants and Cowboys, the Thanksgiving special here, which I know you all are just absolutely looking forward to, because who wouldn't?
Yeah. Get that Cowboy. Get that stuff.
Who wouldn't be looking forward to it? That's what everybody likes. That everybody likes the turkey. But guys, we'll be back again. I said, do the preview show on Wednesday for you guys. We'll be doing a post-game show on Thanksgiving. Now, Rob and I are still ironing out the exact time, because we got to figure out our thing with our family functions and all. We will not be doing the post-game directly after like we typically do. That is going to be an evening one. We'll probably be on around 8:30. We're going to figure out the exact time. We'll post it up. We got that exactly ironed down. We're just trying to figure out there, because he's got a couple houses to go to. I got to figure out food and how much time it takes to fill this large belly I have over here. So, we'll figure that out. But like I said, we'll be on post game at that point there for you guys, just not exactly right after the game like usual, which would be kind of nice. We could talk about the stuff that happens in the press conferences and all too, as well as part of that. So, we'll be back again for that. And then Friday night, guys, we'll be doing our pick show. So that way we kind of mix things up a little bit, and then you get a goofball last weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, because there's no game for us this weekend. So you'll have to go, through Friday to Monday, 2 days off in a row for us before you get to see us. That's just going to seem weird.
Still weird.
I know. Well, we have Friday, Saturday still technically, but you know what I mean. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys Wednesday night talking about the pregame. I'll also give you guys updates on things that are going on in the locker room issues and all that kind of fun stuff there. Appreciate you guys watching as always. If you haven't already, again, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're live at least 3 times a week. They're typically Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do also do, of course, game day coverage, post-game show, and sometimes we'll also do play-by-plays like we did yesterday as well. Appreciate you guys for watching. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and of course, as always, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. Oh yes. And as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, thank you very much for that. And as always, Giant fans,
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please,